One of the biggest downsides of being an enjoyer and a collector of manga is just finding a series you cannot get at all. There's a huge list of manga that are completely out of print with no real way of getting your hands on them anymore, series that are still super popular to this day. And not only that, but there's many series, old and new, that just never receive any type of translation at all. And it's just sad, but that's what we're here to talk about today. These are the best manga you cannot read. Welcome, my gamers. I'm Nick. Leave a like for our almighty algorithm overlord, and subscribe for more random anime manga stuff. So the first and most painful one that I want to single out today is Gintama. Out of its massive 77 volume run, in America, we got a grand total of 23 volumes before it got cancelled. I'm sure at this point everybody has at least heard of Gintama or have been recommended it at least a million times at this point. The anime for Gintama has seasons all throughout the top 100 anime in any given place you look, just truly cementing itself as a classic. And it still truly just deserves so much more. And not too long ago, the only available English volumes were selling for way above what anybody should ever pay for them. But more recently, I've seen these few volumes come back into stock, so if you want, you can go buy a handful of volumes, compared to the amount you can't get, but there's still just so much more content not available anywhere, never printed in any volumes, and not even translated on the Shonan Jump app. Just imagine a world where Gintama actually went on to release in its entirety. I'm sure it would have just created so many more die-hard fans of the series, with content consistently coming out for years and years, like still to this day. And it has 77 volumes. I truly believe Gintama would have been just as praised as Bleach and Naruto if only we had a chance to fully enjoy it. You can go watch the anime, or like I said, a bit of the manga's been coming back into stock, so you can go pick up the first third, but after that, you just get fucked. Another one I want to call out for being cancelled despite having lots of popularity, also from Shonen Jump, is Reborn. This is another classic series not available on the Shonen Jump app. It was cancelled after like 12 volumes, but good luck actually trying to find these ones because they cost an absurd price for just a piece of this incomplete story. I haven't gotten into this series yet, but I know a little bit, and I've heard a lot of people praise this series online. And if it was just more accessible, I would love to read this manga. But it is an old school Shonen Jump series, and it's just beautiful diamonds in the rough like this that I love. And here are just a few more titles that have met the same fate that I feel like I need to mention. Yeah, so first I want to talk about Initial D, which is super out of print, and people are willing to buy this racing manga for more than I paid on my first car. And on top of that, it's not even complete. It was cancelled so close to the end. You can buy like the 30 something volumes of manga that are there, but you'll still be missing like the final 12 that were never printed in English. I'm not even a car guy, but I would love to get into this series. And then just some more Tokyo Pop series that got cancelled. There's Get Backers, which I really wanted to get into, Sergeant Frog, which is a childhood series of mine, and then Beck, which only has a few volumes but is super expensive. Like, look at how much money people are willing to buy these for. If they print these again, they will make so much money. So the series before were all cancelled before they were finished, but these ones have had a full release and have now just gone fully out of print at this point. So complete series that are no longer for sale anywhere. If you end up finding these series anywhere out in the wild, it'll probably be for a lot more than you're willing to pay for them. Like a few years ago, I got the Welcome to the NHK manga, the 8 volumes of it, and it's one of my all-time favorites. And it's only 8 volumes long, but I bring this up now because if you search for it, it's like $200, which is just crazy. Rave Master would have been in the incomplete and cancelled pile if afterwards Kodansha didn't release the final 3-in-1 volume together. I've been trying to complete this series for years now, and the elusive final volumes are just insanely pricey. This is one of the most recognizable art styles ever from Hiro Mashima. I mean, who just knows how to make a fun series? You can get your hands on most of the series that he's written, besides Rave Master and a Monster Hunter spinoff. And I also know he might have like a short story in the final volume of Animal Land, which is also out of print, and the same creator as Zatch Bell, which is also cancelled and out of print. And then just the last one I want to bring up that's out of print is Great Teacher Onizuka. DTO had a full 25 volume run, and then the early years had a full run, and so did 14 Days in Shonan. But these cost an actual fortune if you want to own them, or just attempt to try to complete the series. And for a franchise that's still this popular and influential for readers and creators both, I really believe this series, above a lot of others, just deserves to be available to read anywhere. But as of right now, that's just not the case. And I figured it'd only be right to mention some series that are just being kept in print for the most part, but still have a few volumes that you just cannot get at all at a reasonable price. These ones may be available officially online somewhere, but if you want to actually own them, I mean, good luck. Magi, the first like 15 volumes are just so insanely hard to find. Kekkaishi is an older one, mostly available, but volume 14 costs like $100 if you want. Spirit Circle volume 4 is like another $100 value. Frag is a series I had to collect for a long time, and I spent way more than I'm willing to admit on volumes 3 and 11. Negima volume 29, because I want to finish my Ken Akamatsu section collection right here. In the grand scheme of everything, it's not really that bad. It is only a few volumes, but when you're trying to complete a collection, it can be pretty damn frustrating. Also, lots of series are not out of print, but they have lots of volumes that are just chronically out of stock. Like, they're not going to prioritize these random volumes of this random manga series because you're probably the only person trying to read it in this decade. I mean, I read somewhere online that if you see a volume or something that you need or you want, just buy it then, because it could be a whole year before it's back in stock. Especially these older series, if you see a volume you want, just get it when it's there, and be patient for the rest. Don't pay these insane prices for these out-of-stock manga, because they could be back in a few months. I remember, like, a few years ago, Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen were just out of stock hardcore for so long, but those are super popular now and will probably never be out of stock again, because those were consistently selling volumes. And I buy manga a lot, and I like to go all in for one thing and not just have gaping holes in my collection. So when I try to find older manga, it's just such a pain trying to track down what volumes are easy to get and what volumes I'm gonna have to wait months to get. It's just so annoying. And now the ones I want to talk about are series you just cannot find at all, period, unless you're Japanese or could speak a different language. Every one of these have no English version at all, not even any fan translations online. You cannot read these manga at all. Trying to read everything that the literal god Kamiyamai has written, I found this series Shira Tsunemura. It only has 10 volumes and only the first few chapters are translated. It was honestly really hard for me to find any information about this manga at all. For an untranslated series, I didn't have to look up the English name, Village of the White Sand, to actually find even just the physical books. I literally cannot really find anything about this online. Yeah, I love skateboarding, and then I found a manga that's actually about skateboarding. Yeah, I know that this exists, but this is actual skateboarding right here. And this only has 8 volumes translated. And again, this is just a super short one with only 8 volumes. And it's just such a letdown when I find one of these I really want to get into, and there's just nothing at all on the farthest corners of the internet. I also ended up stumbling upon Tiger Mask, which only has a few chapters translated. And there's an anime, Kemono Michi or something, that I feel like is kind of a reference to it. It's like a really funny anime. It's super slept on. It's written by the same writer as Konosuba, so it's got the same kind of vibes there. I really recommend anybody check it out. It's just so funny. But yeah, manga. Also, Kinnikuman, in the same like wrestler vibe, has stopped receiving any type of translation, which just makes me hesitant to want to catch up to the literal grandfather of shonen. And lastly, for series with no scans, is Kyokaku Chojin R. I just went down the rabbit hole a while ago, and I just found this random manga about this robot photographer boy. It began in 1985, and I think it's still ongoing. That's what it says, at least. There is a little movie adaptation of it. I haven't watched it, but I probably will, because this whole concept really does just seem kind of unique. It's just really annoying when I try to find one of these series to invest my time into, and searching the farthest corners of the internet, I just can't find any translations at all. I don't really have much input because, you know, they're not in my language, but these are just ones I happen to stumble upon, and there are countless series that people outside of Japan have just never really heard about, but these are just the ones that I managed to find. There is so much manga we can't get our hands on, but the main reason I really wanted to talk about this is because more manga has been coming out now than ever in America. Manga has kind of blown up in these past few years. All around, there's just more manga than there ever has been. So some of these long-lost series can and are kind of likely to come back. Shaman King was once out of print, and it didn't get a full run at that, but it has been reprinted now in its entirety. Kazuo Umez of Dissolving Classroom and stuff had Cat Eye Boy printed in English, and it was very expensive, but now it's just been reprinted. Also, the Higurashi manga, Pandora Hearts, and Lucifer in the Biscuit Hammer were just randomly reprinted last year, so never lose faith. Like, these long-lost manga seriously could come back. And then just some series that I think are really deserving to come back. Number 1 is Mushishi, because it's got 10, well, really 8 volumes of manga, but the prices are just so insane. Also, Umineko, because they did just release Higurashi, so I feel like it could happen. Fingers are crossed, very hard. And then on some we've never had printed before, like Needless, Chihayafuru, and honestly just a lot more shoujo in general, because I want to get into so much, but if it's not out of print, then it's just chronically out of stock. I could see them doing Araki's Bow and like a little hardcover. That'd be nice to go along with the rest of the JoJo's. Also, Trigun is super deserving of like some nice hardcover volumes. I'm just trying to show that there's so much they could do, and there's also so much that they've already done. So don't go out there and pay these ridiculous prices for some manga that ain't even complete. Even these complete ones aren't worth it, because they could come back. But yeah, most of these manga do exist somewhere to read unofficially online, besides the ones I mentioned specifically that don't have a translation. But yeah, there is no legal way to read them. But I mean, it's not illegal, but it is kind of like a gray area, I guess. But yeah, if you want something printed or reprinted, a lot of publishers have like surveys or stuff you can fill out to let them know what you'd like. We have lots of manga to read, so I shouldn't be complaining. But these are just some important ones that are just really surprising to me that are no longer available anywhere. I hope this was fun. I just love talking about anime and manga stuff, and these are just the ones that you can't get anymore, or just at all. Let me know if I was wrong anywhere, or if I missed one of your favorite series in this video that you can't get. And also, I know that there's like Spanish and French publishers that have a lot of manga, so if you speak those languages, and probably more, you should go check them out. And I've seen a lot of cool titles that have seriously never been released in English. It's almost my birthday, gamers, and all I ask for is one like on this video. Let me know what kind of videos you want to see. I appreciate you guys watching till the end. This was fun to make. If you like JoJo's, check out my part 9 reviews, and soon enough I'm gonna make my updated manga collection, so stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.